I'm going to show you how to turn these blank pages into this. Today, I'm going to give you tons of ideas that you can use in your journaling to make it look just as beautiful as the pages I just showed you. Now, I'll let you know that I'm using 32-pound paper in this journal, but I'm still going to be using a painting technique. So the first thing I needed to do was to put down some gesso, and this is from Liquitex, and it's a matte gesso that I'm putting down. And then, of course, because I'm very impatient, I'm using my heat gun, which is by far one of my favorite items these days to use. So I'm going to take out the pictures, and I just printed these out on my printer here at home. It was nothing special. I don't have one of those fancy smancy little picture printers. I just print it right out on the printer that I have. And that's the beauty of doing something like this, is that you can use what you have. You don't have to go out and buy anything special. So I'm pulling out some paints, and I tried to find some paints that were kind of within the same color scheme as the pictures that I had. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I don't really like putting my fingers in the paints, but I've been doing it lately and I'm really liking how it comes out. Now, yes, it does look like a second grader actually did this paint job, but as you will see, once it's finished, it actually looks so beautiful. And that's one good thing about doing mixed media, is that, when you first start your project, sometimes you just don't know where it's going to go, but once it gets finished, it's usually very beautiful. So don't be afraid to really get in there and get your hands dirty like I did. So again, I am using my heat gun. So if you're going to be doing any kind of painting, I definitely would suggest purchasing a heat gun. And I'll have the one that I'm using here down below in the description if you're interested. So the next thing I did was go through the stamps I have. Now, I don't really have that many, and I've been trying to organize my stamps, as you see. I'm still not there yet, but I'm making an attempt. So I really wanted to use those arrows, but I decided to use the stars, and you'll see why in a minute. So now I'm attempting to mix my gesso and make it into a paste by putting some black paint or acrylic paint with some homemade matte finish that I made. And I have to say it came out a bit watery, but it's still, in the end, it wasn't too bad. So then I kind of used my little palette knife here and put just a little bit. I tried to be sparing with how much I put on the pages. And as you can see, my stars came out a bit muddled, but again, sometimes you don't know how things are going to work out until you get all the way to the end, until the fat lady sings and I ain't saying yet. So just keep on watching here. So I dried everything up, and then I was going to try to, spray a bit of a finish on using that stencil again, and then I decided against it. I tried using kind of a translucent type of Heidi Shine, and it didn't really come out, like you couldn't really see it. So then I used some gold, and that came out perfect. It really kind of enhanced the stars, and I think you can see it on the screen as well. It gave it just a light shine. And don't worry, I know I just showed you that really quick, but in the end, I'll slow things down and kind of show you what the finished product looks like. So now I'm just kind of deciding where I want to lay things out. And I always say that, just like anything in life, at some point you're just going to have to commit and start gluing some stuff down. But I wanted these to have a background. So I went through some of my cardstock to try to figure out what I wanted for the background. And so I chose this kind of pink and craft paper type of background for my images. You'll also notice that with the images themselves, or pictures, I kind of dab them in my ink, and this is a great technique for you to use because the paper is kind of thick, so once I cut it, you can really see the edges really good. It was white, so once you kind of dip it into the ink, you won't be able to see. They kind of just they're invisible at this point. And you can't even tell that I put the ink on there. So that kind of works out. Now I use some double stick tape to stick everything on. And I kind of like that double stick tape. And I also kind of gave my background a bit of an angle. That's me and my uncle. We went bowling. So this is all about the bowling alley that we went to. So I have a picture of us, of course, because this is in my selfie journal. I have a picture of our scores there at the bottom, and then just the bowling alley itself. And I really love how those pictures came out. Once you start journaling, it's like you take pictures differently as well. So now I'm going to do a bit of stamping, and of course I had to use my camera because this is my selfie journal. So I had to put at least one camera stamp on there, and I had to hold myself back because I really wanted to stamp some more cameras on here, but I didn't, and I'm glad that I didn't. And at the top it just says Our Adventures Together, because me and my uncle, I love my uncle, and I don't get to see him enough, and I kind of miss him. So now I took out some stamps as well. Not stamps, but alphas. And this is the first time that I've ever used alphas, and I've kind of been collecting them along the way. And so this one came out really beautiful, and I'm glad I used the gold ones. And they were a little wonky at first, but I found a way to kind of place them so it wouldn't be too bad. I have to say, if you are doing something like this, there is no bad way to put your items down on your pages. So now I'm making some lines so that I can start doing the journaling. And, I always leave that for last because sometimes journaling is like homework for me, but I was kind of ready for this one this time. So I went ahead and I kind of made a border around the pictures because they still kind of felt a bit unfinished. For me, it was unfinished because, I go all out when I do these journaling pages. So now I'm going ahead and I'm putting my journaling down, and I found that I had more than I thought to say, and I love putting the lines down first and then journaling everything out, and it just looks so pretty. I'm actually using a Sharpie fine point marker, and I have tons of those things, and I just haven't been using them. I also like the way I kind of turn that page so that the writing would be in a different direction as well. Now I'm using some tiny words from Tim Holtz, and I love those tiny words, and I always tell people you don't have to buy those books. You can just type things out on your computer in typewriter font and then just cut those out and glue them down, and it's just perfect that way. So I decided to put even more journaling down, which is quite odd for me, and I really enjoyed how it looked, and I enjoyed the writing process for this particular layout. So I took out some little dots as well, and this is from 7 paper, and I've had these for so long. And then that pretty much completed. I thought it completed it though. It seems like, once you get done, you always remember that there could be just a little bit more. But I want to kind of give you a bit of a preview of how it looked without me actually finishing it. It looks finished, doesn't it? But it's not. So keep on watching, because I have a little bit more that I would like to do to this layout. So I thought that it was still kind of had an unfinished look, and so I gave it a really nice light border with my pen. And I've seen other people do this, and I really like the technique, so I decided to try it as well. And that really was the piece de resistance to this particular layout. So if you enjoy videos like this, please make sure that you subscribe below. Don't forget to hit the notification button so that you'll be notified when more videos like this come out. And also go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I love to know, do you journal? And how do you feel about writing your words on the pages? So with that, I just wanted to say, love, peace, and hair grease. From your sweet lotus blossom and lovable Lizzie, have a fantabulous day and enjoy life.